Yo, what is up, my friends? It is Hippo, and this is YouTube.com. Today, we will be chronicling the crumbling legacy of a historic East Coast burger and shake stop. The story of Steak and Shake starts in 1934 on historic Route 66 in Normal, Illinois. The restaurant was founded by Gus and Edith Belt, who would invent the steak burger, at least according to their website. The process involved grinding up all cuts of steaks, from T-bones to ribeyes, and forming that into a hamburger patty. But before this, Gus and Edith ran a gas station that also sold hot food, like an olden day Wawa or 7-Eleven. This station prided itself on good deals, the most famous of which was an extremely cheap combo for chicken, fries, pickles, and beer. And these are cheap by today's standards. You would get gas there because you wanted to go in for that incredible good deal on food and alcohol. There was a problem with being known for this though. Normal, Illinois was in a toxic relationship with prohibition laws. And every time they got back together, no alcohol could be sold. So all of a sudden, when you're not able to include beer in that illustrious combo, you're not known for anything. Sales would decline heavily during these periods, and Gus and Edith made the strategic business decision to shift course and opened what we now know as Steak and Shake, a hamburger and milkshake stop. Fast forward 90 years later, and Steak and Shake, whilst barely, is still here, but they're now a husk of themselves. According to the Steak and Shake website, they embrace new technologies, such as Bitcoin. I'm not sure what that has to do with burgers, but okay. Another happy customer. Get your Labubu on at Steak and Shake. Born on historic Route 66 in 1934, Steak and Shake is the only restaurant chain in America accepting Bitcoin and giving away Labubus. Alright.
I cut open my giant Labubu to see what's inside.
Here is a photo of the original Steak and Shake. Grilling only government-inspected beef for steak burgers. Was that not required when this photo was taken? I mean, the FDA was founded in 1906. Guys, don't worry. We promise that the government is looking at our meat. We're not skirting any regulations at all. That would suss me out. I when I go into an establishment, I'm under the assumption that the food they're providing me is approved. Why do you feel the need to clarify that? I don't know, maybe in the 1930s, it was just a big anxiety or fear or common occurrence that businesses would sell unregulated foods. If you saw my downfall of Publix video, you'd know that in my opinion, Publix has been too big for their britches and gotten lost in chasing a different market space, similar to Target. So if Publix's downfall is like Icarus flying too close to the sun, Steak and Shakes is the exact opposite. It's the pathetic whimper of a dying dog that the owner just refuses to let down no matter how much pain it's in. As far as I know, Steak and Shake will go down in history as the first, and I hope last, restaurant to try their hand at the modern American right-wing grift. From Ben Shapiro to Charlie Kirk to Tucker Carlson to Steak and Shake. Firstly though, I need to deal in some nostalgia. I actually have quite fond memories of Steak and Shake. Here is me as a young lad enjoying a meal at one of their establishments. I mean, Lord, in those times, their breakfast burger, ooh. Then in high school, it was all about the garlic steak burger, and for my money, their milkshakes were the best in the game. But during these times, Steak and Shake was a much different restaurant than it is nowadays. Back then, they had servers, not kiosks that ask if you want to pay with Bitcoin. Back then, they had good service and value, not a QR code that you had to scan on your receipt to get your 1 cup of soda that came with your meal, because free refills are just going a bit too far in 2025. If you go into a Steak and Shake now, you'll be met with counter service kiosks and a pretty quiet atmosphere, which is pretty ironic because in the 90s to early 2000s, Steak and Shake ran an aggressive ad campaign basically saying that if you didn't have servers, you couldn't call yourselves a restaurant.
Know the difference between a restaurant and a workaround? A workaround is a place where you work your way through the line, work to see the menu, work to carry your tray and fill your drink, work to balance your tray and drink when you get your condiments, work to find a place to sit, and then work to clean your own table. Thank you so much. At Steak and Shake, we're a restaurant.
When I would go in high school 6 or 7 years ago, their service was great. There was this one server at my local location that we absolutely loved, and one time me and my friend Alfie went and we had one of those mailer coupons for a $20 family combo that was basically 4 meals. And we split it between the two of ourselves, and our server hyped us up. Everyone in the restaurant was rooting on us to finish it. It was such a fun event. But then the economy got worse and worse, and COVID happened, and Steak and Shake moved away from servers for counter service kiosks. Which, I mean, okay, whatever, I understand that, but the problem comes in now that they seem to have shifted to this permanently and not as a temporary measure. The cost cutting was just too good to pass up, I guess. But I really don't think that's working out. Since 2018, Steak and Shake have closed 200 locations, and in 2021, they barely escaped bankruptcy, paying back a loan just weeks before it was due. For all the fond memories I have of Steak and Shake pre-COVID, that place doesn't exist anymore. And whilst it's certainly possible that I'm getting unlucky with locations or the days that I go on, whenever I go nowadays, which to be fair hasn't been in a little bit now, I don't even get spoken to. When I walk up to the counter to pick up my own food that I ordered myself, the servers look at me as if I committed a crime. Or sorry, not the servers, the back of house staff. And frankly, the servers were the heart of Steak and Shake. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like the servers at Steak and Shake generally enjoyed working there. But now those servers either aren't with the company or are in a non-tipped back of house position. So how do you save a dying business like this? Do you bring servers back and market your return to the old form? Do you introduce novel new menu items to excite customers? Do you figure out what could be selling best and cut some fat from the menu and then hone in on social media marketing like Chili's did? Nah. Steak and Shake have literally become MAGA grifters. And there is something so off-putting to me about seeing a restaurant, a 90-year-old storied business, engaging in a grift for podcasters. Do you remember beef tallow, that thing from a few months ago that everyone randomly became really obsessed with? If you need a refresher, beef tallow became this really popular thing amongst nutritional people, but not actual nutritional people.
I believe there's a good amount of evidence to suggest that eating more beef tallow is a good way to be less hungry and to lose weight, and you'll be healthier because of all the nutrients in here. Eat more beef tallow. This is a health food.
They became obsessed with beef tallow as a replacement for unhealthy, evil seed oils. Now, don't be fooled about this. The claim that seed oils are evil and beef tallow is good is founded in no more nutritional science than drinking bleach can cure COVID, or pasteurizing milk is bad and you should drink it raw straight from the cow. Unfounded nutritional and medical claims are a massive part of grifting and culture wars nowadays, and beef tallow was just another one in the cycle of these. Though I will say, beef tallow isn't as dangerous as, drinking bleach to try and cure a sickness. Steak and Shake noticed this and began heavily marketing the fact that their fries were fried in beef tallow. This actually did bring them a sizable increase in sales, and I guess because of this, they got completely married to the concept of right-wing grifting. A big proponent of the beef tallow trend was RFK Jr., your favorite voice actor for every Smoker's Lung advertisement and current Secretary of Health and Human Services.
I'm against food that has seed oils. When I was a kid, McDonald's was made with tallow fat. That was good for you. Your body needs that. It makes you healthy. Why aren't we making it with tallow fat again?
I've been saying that McDonald's was healthy 50 years ago, and that McDonald's needs to be healthy again.
Steak and Shake managed to arrange him visiting a location and plastered this all over their social media. And in such an odd way, may I add. First of all, it's just ridiculous to begin with. Guys, look, it's the guy who dumped a dead bear in Central Park and admitted that a worm ate part of his brain. Now that guy knows good food. But also, I love how the picture of him is, bad. Why didn't they do a better photo? It's like this picture of him walking in that looks like someone was trying to hide the fact that they were taking it. Like they're angling their phone up discreetly from their stomach or their hip. Did you want it to seem like RFK Jr. randomly walked in and someone was lucky enough to snap a photo? Did he even sit down to eat? Because I can imagine if you had a picture of him actually eating the food, that would also be plastered all over their social medias. RFK Jr. just walks in you've got 60 seconds, what will I do? I guess you can just walk in, sir. Steak and Shake is the first fast food company to commit to removing seed oils. We look forward to making more announcements soon. Thank you, Secretary Kennedy, for your leadership to improve America's health. Mind you, this is not true. Their supplier still puts the fries in vegetable oil. They just don't put it in the oil in the store, but there are still seed oils on the fries. So clearly they have not committed to removing seed oils like they say. The only thing they've committed to is tweeting. As right-wing grifting requires, they have completely full sent being annoying and loud on Twitter. ESG and DEI are two of the past decade's greatest corporate scams. Buy the hats. They are American-made, save Cracker Barrel. So they're selling these red hats that are like MAGA hats, except they're calling for the firing of the CEO of Cracker Barrel and shouting out the investment company that owns Steak and Shake, Bilgari. Do y'all remember a little bit ago when Cracker Barrel had that whole kerfuffle where they changed their logo to a much more simplistic one, and then after all the backlash and free conversation that it caused, took it back? Well, Steak and Shake did, and they wanted to get in on that social media flurry for marketing. But unlike everyone else who stopped caring the day after that happened, Steak and Shake to this day are still tweeting about this. Just a few days ago, they took out a billboard criticizing Cracker Barrel and calling for firing the CEO. They post screenshots of Donald Trump making fun of Cracker Barrel, sell the hats. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And it's not just the hating, it will often include how Bilgari was right about Cracker Barrel, or just generally sucking off their holding company. Sometimes the tweets read as if Sardar Bilgari is the one actually tweeting from the Steak and Shake account. Self-interest? Are we having a philosophical debate on incentives? Bilgari dealt with similar attacks in 2008, right before gaining control of Steak and Shake from near insolvency. Mind you, Bilgari has stake in Cracker Barrel too, which begs a pretty interesting question. Is this just bluster? Is it just free marketing for two restaurants at once? Or is it an investment firm using one of their holdings to publicly bully the woman CEO of another one of their holdings in an attempt to force them out through the court of public opinion? Cracker Barrel was warned by one of its largest stockholders that they had a flawed strategy, but they did not listen to Sardar Bilgari and instead pursued their foolish and wasteful rebranding project. The CEO is clueless. She should have spent more time in a Cracker Barrel learning what was actually causing the company's problems, deteriorating quality. Fire the CEO. Sardar Bilgari wrote the following to Cracker Barrel shareholders on November 13th, 2024. And then just a bunch of yapping about how Bilgari was right. Mr. President, Cracker Barrel heard you. Americans are grateful. Thank you for the attention to this matter. We are living in unprecedented Pickle Rick times. I don't know how it could get more Pickle Rick than the guy screaming about Szechuan sauce in the McDonald's, but somehow we've gotten here. Thanks, Biden. Great idea, Mr. President. We really appreciate your sage advice. The woke Cracker Barrel management has even less competence than your predecessor. The CEO needs to hear, "You're fired," from her board. They've tweeted about this like 50 times this month. They will not shut up about it. And the conversation that this is sparking is about what you would expect. At Libs Full Re says, "I'll eat Steak and Shake all day before going to the barrel now. Go woke, go broke." Gotta admit, calling it the barrel is kinda tough. Yeah, I'm not going to the barrel anymore. But Matt hits back. "Snake and fuck is the only one acting like a woke snowflake. Go woke and go broke. Support Cracker Barrel." Pretty great reply if I'm being honest. Snake and fuck? Okay, yeah. Steak and Shake, more like snake and fuck. But Libs are full wasn't gonna stand there and let a company take that. Another full crawled out of the ooze inside the public toilet to spatter its mess onto the world. Just really needlessly grotesque imagery. So Matt does what one can only do in this high-stakes situation. Another woke right here. The woke right is a bunch of bum-ass pussies. This family chain restaurant loyalty shit gets serious. Don't forget, Tesla fans, today is Tesla Tallow Tuesday. Tesla Tallow Tuesday. Alright, I guess. Yeah, they love sucking off Elon Musk too. Should Steak and Shake and Tesla Diner merge into one restaurant? I don't know. It's your company, dude. Why are you asking us? A few hours left to supersize your beef tallow fries for free. Steak and Shake, the only place that combines Tesla, beef tallow fries, and Bitcoin. Thank you, Tesla, for boosting our same-store sales. What? Tesla beef tallow and Bitcoin? You're forgetting Labubus. Don't sell yourself too short, Steak and Shake. They also love to just post like really ugly AI videos and just like general bullshit. Taking applications for Project Mars. If you're an engineer and interested in making history, submit your resume. Is that a joke? I mean, I imagine that it's facetious, but like it's just worded so plainly that it comes across as serious. To cap this all off, they are of course participating in the excessive mourning and trying to make a martyr out of Charlie Kirk, a racist, misogynistic podcaster, tweeting about how he was inspiring to millions and taking out a billboard memorializing him in Rome, Georgia, which, if you're curious, I've been to multiple times. It's a shithole. So yeah, Steak and Shake has grown revenue by like 10% after bleeding money for a while. To me, it really seems like these are going to be short profits. And in exchange for that, you're making your brand come across as ugly, nasty, hateful, and grifters. I just can't imagine that this will work out for them in the long term, especially after Donald Trump leaves office and everyone tries to act like they didn't support this. For me personally, this really tarnishes their legacy, and if Gus and Edith Belt were alive today, I think they'd throw up. Regardless of what Gus Belt's politics may have been, what once was a business that thrived because of its adaptation is now going to be memory holed in millions of people's minds as the company who had to stoop to the easiest, lowest, and nastiest grift to get marginally better sales. And while we see companies like Chili's and Red Lobster on the up due to their better understanding of the modern consumer, we see that Steak and Shake just doesn't have that mojo in it anymore. Evidently, not even the mojo to pay attention to their contemporaries who have solved similar issues. When you have to tweet about how great the investment company that owns you is, tweet that you will give away Labubu's, or when all of your billboards are just praising unrelated public figures or belittling other businesses, it's clear that you are no longer running on confidence, and you're no longer selling what you're selling. Steak and Shake isn't in the business of selling their food anymore, they're in the business of selling culture wars. And once that culture war ends, and it will end, Steak and Shake will not be in the good graces of people. Participating in this online drivel is just a sign of giving up. And this is in sad, stark contrast to a fateful day 90 years ago when Gus and Edith Belt would invent the steak burger. If you enjoyed that video, please do make sure to like and subscribe, and perhaps check out one of the other videos that's about to pop up on your screen or is linked down below in the bio. If you enjoyed this, you're probably going to enjoy the video that I made about Publix, or the video that I made about Chuck E. Cheese and Cece's Pizza. Or if you enjoy the alt-right of it all, I have another video where I talk about how all of pop culture is basically just a dog whistle now. Checking out some of my other videos is one of the absolute best ways that you can support me, because it shows YouTube that my videos are ones that people want to watch and that I'm not a one-hit wonder. So if you could do that, it would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, have a great day or night. Hippo out.